The camera glides low over endless rose fields of Bulgaria and Iran at dawn. Golden light barely touches the ground. A thin morning mist hangs in the air, and dew glimmers on the petals. Women and men in traditional clothing pick the blossoms with quick, gentle movements, and close-ups show petals falling into baskets like a haze of pink silk. Now imagine a single drop worth more than gold. To obtain it, people hand-pick 4 tons of damask rose petals. This is how rose oil is born, the most precious fragrance in human history. We shift to Persia of the 10th–11th centuries, where a flickering fire glows in a stone workshop. Warm, wavering flames light clay walls and a long wooden table covered with vessels. At the center of the room lies Avicenna's laboratory. A copper alembic stands over the fire, the metal breathing heat. Rising steam stretches like a thin transparent ribbon, vanishing in the curve of the tube before slowly descending into a bowl of rose water. On its surface, a delicate oily film appears. This is how rose oil is born, created by a man who saw in a flower not just a fragrance, but medicine, knowledge, and the power of nature. Rose oil begins its journey across the world. Caravans move along the dusty paths of the Silk Road. Camels softly chime with copper ornaments, and pouches of oil are hidden beneath layers of cloth like precious treasures. In the Eastern markets, merchants arrange tiny vials on velvet carpets and weigh each drop on miniature golden scales. Here they know the value of an aroma more precious than the purest metal. People travel from afar to buy even a single drop, some for healing, some for incense, and some to offer a token of love that never fades with time. Crusaders return from the east, weary, covered in the dust of long roads. They remove their heavy helmets, holding not only swords, but also small glass vials hidden among their trophies. On a 12th century pier in Acre or Venice, echo the shouts of sailors, the splash of water, the smell of salt. In wooden chests, alongside silks and parchments, they carry precious rose water. Europe does not yet know that its taste and aroma will change the habits of generations. We move into a medieval stone banquet hall. At the long table sit knights in velvet and ladies in heavy jewelry. Before the meal begins, servants slowly pour rose water from silver pitchers. Guests wash their hands in fragrant basins, for cleanliness before eating was considered as important as prayer. On the tables lie open cookbooks of the 14th and 15th centuries. Bright miniatures show recipes for marzipans, spiced hippocras, and candied rose petals used to decorate the grandest feasts. Centuries pass, and the scent of roses becomes a language of royal courts. During the Renaissance and Baroque, it speaks the loudest. Snow-white marzipans shaped like roses decorate the tables of Elizabeth I, and rose jam is served in the porcelain of Marie Antoinette. Ladies drop a single bead of oil on the wrist or into a glass of wine, a gesture subtle, almost intimate. The rose aroma becomes a symbol of elegance, a way to say more than words can allow. And now we find ourselves in the heart of the Ottoman Empire of the 16th and 17th centuries. Only a chosen few may enter the kitchens of Topkapi. Here they prepare dishes that define the prestige of the Sultan's court. Cooks in white hats pour rose water over pilaf and dolma, adding a faint sweetness and freshness. In huge copper cauldrons boils baklava, hot, glossy, drenched in syrup. Turkish delight is dusted with sugar scented with rose, and every piece glitters like a tiny precious stone. Thus rose oil, having begun its journey among the mountains and valleys of the East, becomes a treasure that unites the cuisines and cultures of 3 great civilizations. Today, the journey of the rose takes us to a place where ancient tradition lives in the breath of the present. In the Kazanlak Valley of Bulgaria and in Kashan, Iran, the first rays of the sun barely touch the hills, yet the fields are already alive with movement. Between the even rows of bush, gatherers, young and old, families, neighbors, skilled artisans, move carefully. Their fingers delicately lift the fragile petals, still wet with morning dew. In the air, a light scent of honey and herbs drifts, as if the earth itself is revealing a hidden door to the past. The petals softly rustle, filling woven baskets with gentle waves of pink, and this endless stream of color marks the beginning of something that connects entire cultures. Later, the petals reach the place where magic becomes craft. In traditional workshops, enormous copper cauldrons, just like those described by Avicenna 1,000 years ago, hold the warm, melting aroma that rises in thick steam. Workers load fresh petals with wide wooden paddles, each movement resembling an ancient ritual. Deep inside the alembics, a mixture takes shape, shaped by centuries. Boiling, the flow of steam through copper twists, a long journey through glass coils. In the clear flasks, the oil slowly separates from the rose water, rising as a delicate iridescent film. Every golden pink droplet glimmers in the light, as if containing the legacy of entire civilizations. But the story of the rose continues where antiquity meets haute cuisine. Today, its scent is part of the finest desserts around the world. In Paris, delicate macarons in pastel boxes conceal a cream with a subtle rose hue. On Turkish bazaars, the sweetness of Turkish delight sparkles under powdered sugar, like an Eastern legend made tangible. In Indian restaurants, gulab jamun floats in fragrant syrup, echoing centuries of spiced tradition. And in alpine chocolate ateliers, a drop of rose oil dissolves into rich fillings, adding an unexpected depth to the flavor. As the day draws to a close, the rose valleys grow still once more. The sun sinks low, painting the hills of Bulgaria and Iran in gold. The fields become a single, endless breath of color, slipping toward the horizon. A gentle breeze stirs the petals, just as it did hundreds of years ago. In this fleeting, almost weightless gesture, nature reminds us that all greatness begins with something small, delicate, barely perceptible. Rose oil continues its journey, linking people, flavors, and eras into an endless thread, leaving behind a fragrance that will live on in the memory of generations.